Not only do I see him talking to April. So this is the second part to the story time. This is the last and final part. So without further ado, again, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And let's get to the second part of this story time. Keep in mind, April does not go to this school. She doesn't even go to a school that's close to our school or the school or whatever. So I'm really surprised as to why she's there. Like, that's who I was surprised to see. So he's talking to her or whatever. They don't see me seeing them, but I see them. They don't see me seeing them, though. And they're with the stepbrother, the same stepbrother, remember, in the beginning of the story. So I see them talking or whatever, and immediately I'm like, what the heck? Like, my mood just completely changed, because not only did you just recently, like, say you wanted a break, and you're, like, you know, all this stuff going on between us. Now, this is my first time seeing you in months, and really, like, just seeing you in months. Like, we haven't even talked on the phone. We just really texting back and forth. I see you talking to April. So they're like talking, and to me it came off like they were flirting or whatever. So the next day, because of course I felt some type of way about it, the next day was the step show they have during homecoming. My roommate, I was with her, and she had to use the restroom after the step show. So Firecracker, he was still in school during this time because they hadn't graduated yet. And she was like, I need to go to Firecracker's apartment so I can go use the restroom. So I'm already knowing if we go to Firecracker apartment, since Firecracker and Evan are friends, I know I'm going to see him in there. So I had already pre-texted him and was like, you know, where y'all finna go? Kind of, you know, trying to fill out the scene, trying to see if you're going to be there or not. Or whatever. And then all of a sudden, I don't know why, I just asked him, I was like, you know, when you saw me, because he saw me multiple times that same night, I saw him talking to April, and he did not say nothing to me, did not acknowledge me, walked right past me, like he never even knew me, which hurt, because I'm just like, dang, like the way he treated this breakup was like I was a girl off the street, like, that he was just talking to, not somebody he was in a 4-year relationship with. Like, when I tell y'all, even family dynamic, like, his niece called me auntie. Like, his whole family knew me, my whole family knew him. It was that, and I know family don't always mean something, but it's like we had that type of close type of relationship. And I don't talk out of delusion. Like, I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is. Like, we had that type of relationship with each other where it was like a serious relationship. We talked about marriage at some point in our relationship, and I really never thought that we were gonna break up. And I feel like if we ever did, that it would never be in that way. I feel like it would have a lot more respect to it, but you know, whatever. So I ended up asking him about talking to April or whatever. He did not respond. So again, keep in mind, y'all, moved into Atlanta in July. I did not see him again until November. This was like November time, like October going into November. So I hadn't seen him. We hadn't even had a conversation about our breakup, because every time I would like try to talk to him about our breakup or whatever, he would just like not want to talk to me about it. So I'm like, okay, I'm in, you know, the state, because I did not live in the state at the time. We went to school in Alabama. I lived in Georgia. So I'm like, I'm probably not going to see you again for real for a long time. Like, I need to talk to him. You know, I need to talk to him in person while we're face to face. So I texted him to see if he would like meet me somewhere so we can talk. And he ends up texting me back and was like, he already left the area. He's back where he, you know, was going to school at. God bless. And then I ended up asking him about April, and he was like, she doesn't want me. She like shitty boys. And that kind of threw me off, because it's like, I don't know if he was drunk. I don't know what was going on. What was the point of saying that? Like, what do you mean by that? Like, are you saying that if she did not? Like, what are you saying? So I'm just like, okay. And then the next day, again, when you go through a breakup, y'all, if anybody said they haven't went through this, like, I know now to always choose myself. I won't ever in my life ever beg a man. If a man is showing me he doesn't want me the first time, that's, you know, that's just it. But I think because I was in a relationship with this person for so long, and I was so used to having this dynamic with this person for so long, I was almost like shocked that he was treating me this way. Like, even to the point where my mom was like, if somebody was treating her that way, like, she would be so upset. And what was really crazy was, like, my parents really liked him, and they saw a whole different side. Not that I did tell them, you know, what was going on or whatever, but like, it was even one time my mom witnessed him like doing something. I called him, I'm trying to talk to him about something, and he was like, you know, somebody's calling me, I gotta call you back. He hung up in my face. Again, that type of behavior I wasn't used to. And all this is going on while I'm potentially finding out that I could have cancer, which ended up being the case. So yeah, he ends up saying that about her, and I'm just like, what does that even mean? The next morning, I still try to like, you know, go see him or whatever so we can talk. Even my dad is so nonchalant, but he was even like, Lakebra, like, don't go do it. And he could see, like, he would do this thing where when I would call him, like, he had it restricted, so every time I would call him, it would just go straight to voicemail. So, like, at this point, I really feel like my life was just in shambles. Like, I did not know what was going on. I was even praying, like, God, if I did anything, somebody, like, please just, like, I don't know what's going on. So, yeah, so he ended up saying, like, no, like, we weren't going to talk or whatever, or not today or something like that. And I was crying the whole way back to Atlanta, to the point where my dad followed me back to Atlanta because he was so worried about me, because I was crying. Like, this was a really tough time in my life. After that, we ended up breaking up for good. He ended up saying we weren't going to get back together, whatever. In December, after he said we were officially breaking up or whatever, I was just like, okay, like, we're just not gonna be together no more, whatever. So I stopped texting him. And then shortly after that, I ended up finding out about my diagnosis. So I was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia in 2022, December 2022. And he knew, so he texted me. He was just like, you know, I know, I forgot what he said. He basically was saying something along the lines like, I know we're not where we, what did he say? He was just like, I know we're not where I said we would be, but I'll always be here for you, you know, whatever. So at that time, I just felt like I needed as much support around me, you know, because of what I was going through. So at that point in time, I felt like I should have just left that where it was and didn't give into that. But I kind of was just like, you know, I got this big thing going on. I'm only 21. I just got diagnosed with cancer, which was such a shock to me, because I'm just like, what the heck? Like, I just got diagnosed with cancer, and this is somebody who always been there for me. This is somebody I've been, you know, with for a very long time, or was with for a very long time. So I'm going to allow him to be here for me, or whatever, and whatever that looks like. Because at that point, I got tired of begging. I got tired of trying to talk. I just let it go. But my feelings about the situation were still there. I just didn't feel the need to talk to him about it. And plus, I had bigger shoes to fill. I was literally going through cancer. I had to go into the hospital immediately. He came and saw me in the hospital or whatever. Keep in mind, y'all, me and April and Evan, like, we also follow each other. So everything April would post, like, I would see it. So this is when it kind of gets into, she went from his ex to his wife, whatever. So the following year, so now we're in 2023. You're still locked into the story. Put balloon in the comments. So yeah, so fast forward to 2023. So April and Evan both, which is so crazy, their birthdays are both in March, right? So around March time, I went on another work trip, because at this point I wasn't in the hospital. I was still doing chemo, but I wasn't in the hospital. So I went on a work trip because I ended up going back to work, because I was a consultant at the time. So I was traveling for work. I ended up traveling for work, and Evan had to track me. So even though we weren't together this time, we were still texting every day. It wasn't nothing crazy, but my heart was still in it with Evan, because again, the breakup wasn't my decision. And plus, you know, we were still in a communication with each other, and I still supported him. I still was like watching his track meets and stuff, and like, he doesn't even know this, but I was still like making sure he was doing good, because I knew how important that was to him, and what was important to him was important to me. So I still was, you know, telling him congratulations with stuff what happened. So I think he had did something at a track meet, and like, he was reposting everybody who was like posting him, you know, telling him congratulations or whatever. So April posted something saying something about her being so proud of him, and then she deleted it, because he, like, I don't think he reposted it or something like that. So that threw me off, because also I forgot to mention, around homecoming time, right, like a week after homecoming, they started following each other again. The only reason why I knew that is because, again, April had followed me. So she had posted a picture and he liked it, but I'm like, I know they didn't follow each other. So I saw that they followed each other at that point in time. So I'm like, okay. But I'm still giving them the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, maybe it's nothing really going on. Because like, he would like literally get mad if I said anything about that. Not really mad, but he would just be like, that's not what that is or whatever. So again, still giving them the benefit of the doubt that they are just friends, and that that's all that this is. So yeah, so that happened in March. And during this time, and this is the only issue that I have with April during this whole process, because again, the man owes me the loyalty, so I'm only looking at him as the problem. But it's the fact that, like, you follow me, you like almost every single one of my pictures, you DM me. Like, it was even one time she DM'd me about freaking Olipop, and I'm not even saying I was interacting with her back, but that's just because I'm a nice person. Like, I'm nice, like I'm gonna be cool with you, like especially if you haven't done anything to me, like, you know, I'm gonna interact with you. So she was like texting me, or we were DMing back and forth or whatever. But my whole thing is, I don't get why do all of that knowing that you're either dealing with this person that I just freshly got out of a relationship with and still talking to. And like she would even say stuff like she's praying for me, because, you know, I would post stuff about my journey, my cancer journey on Instagram. So she would even say stuff like she's praying for me and all of this stuff. So I'm just like, how the story ends, I just was so confused. Like, what was the point of that? Like, I would just never be in a girl's DM or doing all of that if I know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Even though they knew each other first, like, you're well aware of our relationship, and you said yourself you wouldn't even consider this man an ex in middle school. And plus, I didn't know any of them before. I didn't know Evan until freshman year of college, so I didn't have nothing to do with their past relationship. Like, I wasn't even in, like, we were in completely two dimensions of life at that point. So I had nothing to do with them, but they both made it seem like they weren't really in a relationship. And y'all know middle school relationships, they're nothing. So yeah, that's what I was thinking it was. So fast forward to June. So this is where the story starts to wrap up, but this is like actually the most juiciest part of the story. So June, Evan ends up winning a big championship for his track meet or whatever. And they had this like little welcome home ceremony or whatever. So during this time, just for context, I still have my apartment in Atlanta, but I was mainly going home to Milledgeville because I was so sick that I couldn't really be by myself. So I'm in the bed, I'm battling chemo, I'm sick all the time, he knows this. And I see April posts a picture that she's at his school. And I DM him and I'm like, you know, is she there for you or whatever? Because we're still texting every day. And even though we're not together, like, you don't owe me anything, it still would just be crazy to just, you know, be dealing with this person after everything that happened in our relationship, and y'all both made it seem like it really wasn't like that. So he ends up having that whole thing or whatever. He says that she's there, but she's just there getting her hair done. Or like she came to the city because she's getting her hair done, as if like she just stopped by because she was already there. And at the time, I'm like, that's BS. Like, I don't believe that. But I mean, what can I really say? I'm just like, okay. So at that point, again, I'm really sick. We done broke up. I'm still heartbroken over the situation. I'm just not saying anything because I got so much other stuff to worry about. So I just end up asking him, like, what's going on there? Like, if y'all have something going on, like, please just tell me. Like, just tell me what's going on or whatever, so I could just remove myself from you. I actually might include these messages because I remember vividly saying just that. He ends up like responding, because during this time, every time I would like bring something up, whether it was like our relationship or this situation, he would try to like ignore me. So I'm like, don't ignore me, like tell me what's going on so I could just remove myself from the situation. He basically ended up saying like, it's nothing like that, they're just friends, I promise, don't worry. Those were his exact words. And we weren't together at this time, so you had no reason to lie to me. Like, just tell me the truth, because I'm literally not even trying to cause mess. I don't even want to know how this happened, what happened. Like, I just want to remove myself from the situation. So when he told me that, again, I just was giving him the benefit of the doubt. So I kind of just went on. I think I had like a surgery the next few days or whatever. So I ended up telling him about the surgery, and we just went on from there. So fast forward to July, and y'all, I promise this story is coming to an end. So fast forward to July. This is around the 4th of July. I had a doctor's appointment, but I always go to Alabama on the 4th of July. So to see my granddad and spend time with that side of the family. So we were talking. I think he ended up asking me about my grandma or whatever. And I told him, you know, how she was doing. This is my grandma on my mom's side. And he stopped texting me, but it was so odd. Like, ever since I had been diagnosed with the big C, we would still text every single day. Like, my mom would even ask me, she was like, when's the last time you talked to Evan? I'm like, I'm texting him right now, because we were still communicating with each other every single day. Like, he knew every single thing that was going on with my whole, big C journey. Like, he knew everything. Like, outside of my family, he knew everything. So, yeah, so we were still texting each other every day, but it was so odd. He stopped texting me during this time. And again, I still followed April during this time. So I saw that April went on what seemed to be like a vacation or whatever. So she posted a picture, and of course, because I had been with Evan for so long, I know Evan when I see Evan, but she didn't post him. Like, she posted somebody's hand, like, on their phone, but I'm like, this looks just like Evan's hand. Like, not even trying to be crazy, but I'm like, I know him. Like, I know what his phone looks like. I know what he looks like. So I'm just like, this gotta be him. And during this time, he's not texting me or whatever. Like, he stopped texting me or whatever. So at that point in time, I really made the decision to just stop texting him, like, cold turkey. Like, I'm just not gonna text him anymore. I just can't keep doing this. Like, expecting something that probably is not gonna happen, and I'm already going through a lot. Like, I'm just
I cannot have conversations with you no more.
I'm gonna stop texting him. Because at that time too, I think I had peeped him like retweet something that said something about like thinking you don't want to be in a relationship, and then you end up meeting somebody who makes you want to be in a relationship or something along those lines. So I'm like, okay, yeah, no, I'm just gonna stop. So after 4th of July, I noticed that April comes back from her trip, and then that's when Evan texts me. So he asked me like, how was my 4th of July or whatever, and I didn't respond. And then he texted me like 2 days later asking me like, thinking his phone was broken, because I was telling him how I had to get a new phone because my phone had broke around that time. And he was like, yeah, he thinks he has to get a new phone or whatever. So I still did not respond. So I would say like a week or two passed. I'm asleep. I wake up one morning. I go to Instagram. I look at April's story, and she posts a picture of Evan's niece and her. Keep in mind, y'all, this is the same niece that used to call me auntie. And I always said, like, if we broke up, like, she better not ever call another girl auntie, like, making a joke or whatever. But, yeah, so when she posted that picture, it really did something to me, because I would have been better off if she would have posted a picture of her and Evan. But she posted the niece, and she was taking her to, like, the Barbie movie, because I think the Barbie movie came out around this time. Keep in mind, y'all, we had just broke up for good in November. This was July of the following year, so this was only some months. It wasn't even a full year yet that all this was happening, and I was going through a cancer journey. And this is also while April is like DMing me, saying certain things, like I'm not thinking anything's going on. And this is also like history of you telling me nothing's going on with this person, or not to worry about what, you know, this person, and this is going on. So that was kind of like my confirmation, like, okay, they have something going on. So I texted him, and I basically was like, you know, I really did not want to do this, which I didn't. But I basically told him how I felt. Like, I don't have any respect for you. Like, you really did me the worst at the worst time in my life. I don't feel like I ever did anything to Evan for him to, like, do a lot of these things to me. Like I said, I feel like I wasn't perfect, but the things that I did in our relationship, I feel like could have been handled with a conversation. It was, like, little small stuff, but, you know, I don't feel like it was anything ever that big for us to really get to that point. So yeah, so I just texted him. I was like, you know, I can't respect you, like, because I had to figure out this way. I literally asked you, was something going on there? And you told me no. You actually promised me nothing was going on there. So I could just remove myself. Like, even when I asked him, I wasn't asking him like, oh, you gotta stop talking to her, or anything like that. It was just like, let me know what's going on. Like, even though it's still crazy because of what happened, like, she was a factor in our relationship, it was still just like, why not tell me the truth? So, yeah, I text him that, and then he sends this, I'm gonna say she sends this long paragraph back, because around this time, she was going to another, she graduated from her 4-year university. She was going to another school, and he was helping her move in to the new place that she was going to, which was so crazy, because just a year before that, you was just helping me move to Atlanta. So, he was helping her move down there, and I only know this stuff, y'all, because of what she's posting. So, sends a long paragraph back, basically saying, I promise to God, nothing happened between us until like a month ago. Keep in mind, y'all, I just asked less than a month ago if something was going on there, and you promised me nothing was going on there. So now you putting it on God's name. Like, come on. So, yeah, and then it just goes on to say, like, I still love and care for you, and she knows and respects that. But the way the message was orchestrated, you could tell a female wrote it. Like, I know how Evan typed, and he wasn't illiterate, nothing like that, but I know he wasn't gonna put that much emphasis and punctuation to a paragraph. So I'm like, she clearly has sent this message or whatever. So I kind of was just like over it, still heartbroken, very heartbroken, because I'm just like, I feel so betrayed, I feel played. Now I feel like, what was going on between y'all in our relationship? Like, did y'all have something going on? Like, what was, like, I was just second guessing everything. And the fact that this is somebody also female-wise who's like in my DM, like trying to be cool, and I'm just like, I don't know, y'all. So, and I'm able to laugh about this now because I have healed through it. So yeah, I end up just texting back saying, you know, I understand your response. I appreciate you for responding. I think it's still wrong how you handled the situation. Like, it's not even about what he did, it's how he did it. Because if it would have been anybody else he moved on to, I would have just been sad, of course, because I wanted us to be together. But I just would have been like, okay, he moved on. And I think it's not even the fact that he broke up with me. I think it was just how he broke up with me. And just not being honest and doing all of this while you know I'm going through something like cancer is crazy. And just as a female too, like, I just feel like it's distasteful, because if you were in that position, you wouldn't want a female doing that to you. You just got to kind of think about it that way. So yeah, so I ended up sending that. I told him to have a nice life, and he was just like, I'm sorry, Lakebra. Like, I know I was wrong, but I don't want you stressing over me. And I'm just like, what? Like I was so irritated because I'm just like, I know that was him responding, but I just left it on red. And then I think a time after that, I got put into the ICU because of something I was going through health-wise. He had texted me after that saying, like, he saw my story or whatever, and he just want to check on me, and if I ever want to talk, like, he's still there. So he still opened the door for me to, like, talk, but it was no point at that point. Like, I can't. So I ended up leaving that on red, too. So we still continue to follow each other after that, like, me, Evan, and April. And eventually he asked her to be his girlfriend, and the way he did it, y'all, I was so shocked. And, like, Firecracker, never mind, I'm not gonna say that part of the story, but like a similar situation happened with Firecracker, and we used to always like talk about that together, and like how it was wrong. Is like you basically went and did the same thing, but he asked her, like he posted it, like it was actually really cute how he did it. Like, I'm not a hater, but I'm just like, dang. And we still was following each other, so I just made the decision to unfollow them because I'm like, it's no need to put myself in this position of being hurt seeing this stuff. But fast forward to her becoming his wife this year, I would say it was like July. It's like July is always the month something's happening. In July, again, I don't follow them anymore, and I wasn't really paying attention to what they had going on or anything like that. I'm actually in my bed sick again because something had happened to me with this medicine I was taking. I'm in the bed, I'm home from work and everything. Also, y'all, during this year, I got laid off from my job earlier this year. So I was going through a lot. But good things were still happening. Even when life is bad, life is good. So good things were still happening. But I saw he had proposed to her. And I went down, and I actually saw it on someone's story that I don't even like really talk to like that, or would even expect to like really know what he got going on, but she knows April. So I saw it on her story, and then everybody just started sending it to me. Like everybody who knew our relationship started sending it to me. His friends eventually started posting it, and I was just heartbroken. I remember getting on the floor, rolling up into a ball, and just crying because I was like, I can't believe this. Just because we had this type of relationship where I feel like one day that could have been, you know, what we had, but it wasn't even that at that point. I think it was more so feeling like, dang, what does this person have that I didn't have? Or it just made you feel, you second guess yourself. But like I said, y'all, don't allow what another person does to reflect what you feel about yourself. Like in that moment, I had to learn, and I'm also still in therapy. I had to learn to take accountability for what I could have done better, but also realize like, there's a lot of things that he did in our relationship that longevity-wise, I probably wouldn't have appreciated anyway or wanted anymore, because you grow from things. I learned a lot about myself through the breakup. I had time to heal and reflect, and I actually sat in my hurt and versus, you know, running away from it or going to talk to multiple people. Like, you know, I'm still single to this day. Like, I just learned to heal from it and figure out what it is I actually want and how to become a better person as a woman. So that when another relationship does come into my life, I'm like in a much better place. So yeah, I saw he proposed to her or whatever. And then I went down this rabbit hole. I started looking at everything, and I was seeing like stuff they were posting, like basically as if he was never in another relationship. I'm not saying that they were going to post things around him being in another relationship, but you would think like he's only been with this person for years. And I think to this situation, I'm going to wrap up this story time because I know it's really long, but I think it would be a difference if they had like something going on in middle school and then they stopped talking, and then like later on in life, they just came back together. But I think for me, it was the fact that they were still in communication with each other the whole time, including when we were together. And it's like, y'all just ended up with each other. And it's like it just made me feel like, okay, even if you weren't physically cheating on me or anything like that, emotionally, like, did you still have a connection with this person? Did you still want to be with this person? And it almost made me feel like it should have just been her. Like, it should never just been me and you at all. And I really took our relationship serious because of the dynamic that we had or whatnot. So yeah, so I ended up seeing he proposed to her or whatever. Instagram has highlights. So like on April's highlights, there was like a whole bunch of stuff with them, and like some of the stuff would be when they were like kids, and I'm like, who still had these pictures? Like, y'all, do y'all see what I'm saying? Like, who still had these pictures? Like, what is going on right now? So yeah, that is the conclusion of the story time of how my ex became his wife. The main purpose of me telling this story is taking something that was meant to like literally break me, and it made me stronger. It made me who I am today. It helped me in a way got through my cancer journey, because every like thing that I went through allowed me to realize that I was stronger than I thought I was. Like I said, y'all, I sat in my hurt, and I really encourage all people to do that. Sit in what hurts you, but don't dwell in it. Like once you realize, okay, I'm having this emotion, deal with it at a time, whether you're talking to a therapist, a friend, or just most importantly talking to God about it, praying. I remember just praying. Like it was moments that I was like crying my eyes out, crying myself to sleep, you know, asking for God's guidance on this situation. But yeah, I just really encourage everyone to just go through the healing process. Like healing doesn't have a time clock on it. It's no time clock to healing. Like this all happened between the years of 2022 and 2023, and it's 2025, but well, today is 2025, but it's like that hurt never goes away. I do feel like I have forgiven them both. Well, more so him in the situation. Of course, I'm never going to forget it, which is how I'm able to tell this story, but I just have a much more positive outlook on the situation. I really got into a point where it doesn't really hurt as bad as it used to, and it does get better. Y'all, like anybody going through a breakup out there, or have been through a breakup before, it does get better. There's light at the end of the tunnel, and girl, you got this. So yes, y'all, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I'm so excited to start this journey with you guys, and I hope you enjoy. Bye.